The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside what are we, Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And we try to do the same here on this show every single day. And one of the ways we do that, of course, is by doing the player profiles that we do every day. We share a player profile, or we have guests live on the show, Coach's Corners as well. We try to do that every single day here on Running Point. That way we can go the extra mile for you, the same way that our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet do, and our wonderful sponsors over at Greenwood Chevrolet. So we're going to do that today. We have a great show for you. We're going to recap last night's games, of course, like we always do, but we're also going to feature a player profile from Champion, and it's going to be their junior catcher, Adi Warzela, who is also committed to play at the next level at Slippery Rock. She'll be joining Alyssa Masucci there as Slippery Rock as well. So that's going to be a fun interview to play for you guys. That'll come towards the second half of the show, but first half, we have to go into the scoreboard, right? We had a lot of great softball and baseball last night. Finally, a nice day, cloudless skies. We had nothing but green lights. Yeah, everything got going. Some games had to switch places and change venues, but everything kind of went off without a hitch last night, and it was much earned after all the rain and bad weather we went through last week. So let's hop into the scoreboard on ysnlive.com, which, as always, is brought to you by our good friends over at Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. They are our proud presenters of the YSN scoreboard. The scoreboard on ysnlive.com is a great tool for our fans, whether you're at one of our games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great, easy way to get live updated scores of your favorite teams across the YSN family. We have a hardworking team behind the scenes that gets as much of these scores as humanly possible. Are we always perfect? No, we'll own that. Sometimes some scores slip through. Sometimes some scores just aren't reported to us. But we have a hardworking team that gets more scores than anybody else in the area, that's for sure. Any other media outlet, our scoreboard is always full, and it is only possible thanks to the wonderful support from Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. So make sure to check out the YSN scoreboard at ysnlive.com/scores. Let's pop into last night's scoreboard. Monday, a new week starts, April 15th. We are just a couple of weeks away from the softball tournament starting, and then a couple of weeks away from that baseball tournament draw. It's nearing very close. Here are the baseball scores for you. Beaver area falls to Central Valley 11-1. The final score there over in PA. We have Berkshire going into Grand Valley and getting the win 10-0. Edgewood and Lakeside doing battle, and it was a wild one. Pitchers duel straight up 2-1. Edgewood walks away with the win, though, over the Dragons. A big win for the Warriors on the road in a game where offense was definitely sparse. East Liverpool, a shutout victory of Oak Glen as they win 6-0. big win for the Potters down there in southern East Ohio. We have Warren JFK. They got the win over Mogador 7-3. That's a good conference win for the Eagles. Cardinal Mooney went to Austintown Fitch, and the Falcons, that young Falcons team, ready to go. 10-2, the final score. Fitch gets the win in that matchup, that Battle of the Birds. On the baseball side of things, Crestview and Champion go at it in pitching. It was Carson Fife versus Ethan Fiesel, and they both pitched really, really well. But Fiesel gets the upper hand, and along with Crestview, they win 3-1. I wanted to hop into the game changer on this one because it was one of those ones where it was just a really well-played baseball game all around. As we hop into the box score. And this has been kind of tough luck for Champion and a couple of times already this year where they pitch really well, but they just aren't able to come on top of pitchers' duels. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Crestview. 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors for Champion. Crestview went up 2-0 in the third. Champion made a 1-run game in the fifth, and then Crestview answered in the bottom of the sixth with an extra insurance run. And with Fiesel on the mound, that's all they really need. Carson Fife pitched well. He also hit well. He hit in an RBI on a 2-for-3 day, but his final line, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits given up, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. It's a tough luck loss for Fife, but then you go on Fiesel's side, and he went 7 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts on the day, 6 hits, so a really wonderful performance from him. The walks were a little bit high. The Champion did a good job drawing some walks, 7 walks on the day. But you'll take that with the 11 strikeouts and 1 run given up. So obviously, runners on the base pass did not bother Fiesel all too much. So a big win for Crestview there. And those two teams will play again tonight in Champion to round out that league series. We go back to the EOAC. Columbiana was everything and more against Southern. 18-0, the final score there. We have Heartland Christian beating East Palestine 12-2. Howland and Fitch playing in prime time on scene 1. And Howland and Fitch were, Canfield. Howland and Canfield playing in prime time on scene 1. And this is a game that was also pretty back and forth, but Canfield with a couple of late runs to get the last laugh. In fact, Canfield scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th that ended up being the difference, 7-4. It was 2-1 after 1, and then both teams scored a run in both the 3rd and 4th innings. And then when Howland tied up the game in the top of the 5th with their 3rd straight inning with a run, Canfield finally broke through with a 3 spot in the bottom half of the inning. And they win 7-4. Only 3 hits for Howland. They were helped by 3 errors from Canfield. So 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors for Howland. 7 runs on 11 hits, 3 errors for Canfield. And when you look at the offensive performance, it really, Murphy 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run scored. He was definitely the big bat. You had Groner with the great day at on the mound, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits only given up, just 1 earned run. He struck out 6. 11 strikeouts total for Canfield pitching, so they continue to throw the ball well from the mound. For Howland, they were kept in check for the most part. 1 RBI for Manitti at the bottom of the lineup. He was 0 for 1, though, so he walked in a run. Good pitching from Kovarik. He went 4 innings pitched. Gave up 6 hits, 5 runs. Struck out 5, walked 0. So he stayed away from the free passes. And just a good baseball game between 2 league opponents in Canfield and Howland. And Canfield gets to win 7-4. Those 2 teams will play again tonight, this time on the road in Howland. Jackson Milton and Middle Ridge played a pitcher's duel. Middle Ridge gets to win there 2-0, the final score over the Blue Jays. Not a pitcher's duel in Poland, as Lakeview and Poland offenses came to play. Poland with a walk-off hit from Matt Paparadis, who gives the Bulldogs the 11-10 win over Lakeview, a big conference win there for Poland. LeBray gets back on track, 21-0 over Liberty. Lisbon baseball beats Wellsville 12-2. Lordstown beats Badger 11-3. We go to Lowville and Waterloo, a pitcher's duel, 3-2. A good baseball game. Waterloo escapes with the win. McDonald and Western Reserve. McDonald all over this one. 12-0 your final score there. Newton Falls and Garfield locking horns, and it's Garfield that gets the win. 2-1 the final score. Springfield beats Sebring 11-2. We had Hubbard and South Range. Hubbard goes on the road and wins 3-0 at South Range. This is a series that got flipped. It was supposed to be at Hubbard Monday, at South Range tonight, but because the field conditions were still a little shaky yesterday, they flipped it. They went to South Range yesterday, and Hubbard was not bothered by the quick change of venue, as their pitching staff goes down to South Range and really throws a gem in the 3-0 shutout of the Raiders. Struthers was able to take quick work of Niles, 16-6 the final score there. Wildcats get the win. We have United beating Latonia, 18-0 the final score there. Salem beats Minerva 20-10. They were not playing football, I promise you. Moore and Harding and Boardman squaring off, and Harding gets the 2-1 win there. Jefferson falls to Geneva 17-3. Archbishop Hoban gets a win over Benedictine 6-1 on the road in Cleveland. And last but not least, Ursuline goes on the road to Massillon and gets the win 7-4 for the Irish. So a big win for Ursuline there as well. We go on to softball. Mohawk, nothing but domination from the Warriors over in PA as they get the win 16-0. Edgewood gets the win over Geneva in a very tough battle, 3-0 the final score there. Geneva pitches really well, but Edgewood was also up for the task in the circle. Jefferson falls to Madison 9-4. The final there. You have Wyndham and Matthews. No score reported there. Beaver Local, bottom of the 7th inning, and they was suspended, I believe, because of the lack of light, 8-8. That game is tied, so it'll have to be continued, and that's kind of a little bit of a PTSD moment for Austintown Fitch and Canfield from last year when they were tied, and they ran out of light, and they had to be continued at a later date. Obviously, Beaver Local and Cambridge are going to try to get that last run, or that last couple of innings in at least, however long that takes to get through the 8-8 tie before they start their next game. Brookfield beats Campbell 13-5. That's the first win of the year for Brookfield. Champion has no problems with Crestview as Gabby Gradishar throws yet another no-hitter in her career as they win 16-0 over the Rebels. She also hit a home run in that game as well. Columbiana got into a really good battle with Southern, but they were able to score just enough in a 4-0 win over the Indians. East Liverpool and East Palestine, they were offenses galore, but Bulldogs at the last laugh, 12-10. The final score there. Howland tries to come back with 2 runs in the 7th against Canfield, but Melina Toth shuts the door, and Canfield escapes with the win 4-2 to stay on top of the AAC standings. Squared off with Fitch, both of them with 1 loss in the conference. Mineral Ridge is able to come back on Jackson Milton with 5 runs late in that game. 9-6 the final score. Ridge beats the Blue Jays. Lakeside travels to Conneaut, and the Spartans all over it, 15-5 the final score there. How about Lakeview going into Poland and winning in 6, 15-4 the final score there. They had a 10-run lead after 4.5. Poland came back. Mary Brandt with a 3-run inside the park home run to extend the game for 1 inning, but then Lakeview came right back and said, no. We are going to get this run rule victory. They scored 2 more in the top of the 6, and then Poland came back and could only score 1 in the bottom. So this game ends 15-4 Lakeview. And what the big thing is for Lakeview, I was at this game, so I can talk about it a little bit. Ava Bacon was their starter, who is very good, but also not their leader in innings pitched, so not their quote-unquote ace this year. So they were kind of setting it up where they could win this game with her on the mat in the circle. Sorry, I'm mixing up baseball and softball now. They could win with her in the circle and then bring in Eisenberg in the second game to try to really solidify that sweep. So Lakeview's looking really good. Those two teams will play tonight. And obviously Lakeview is one of those teams that wants to be at South Range's heels all year. And you have to beat Poland to do that. So they're going to try to sweep the Bulldogs tonight at home in Cortland. LeBray hands Liberty their first MVAC loss of the year, and it was emphatic. 18-1, the final score. Liberty scored first. It was 1-0, and then everything went south from there if you're a Liberty fan. LeBray gets the win. Those two teams will play again tonight in Liberty. Lisbon gets the win over Wellsville, 3-1, the final score there. Those two teams played a doubleheader, and Lisbon actually won both those games. Lordstown and Badger doing battle, and Badger all over this one, 20-4, the final score there. Waterloo gets the win over Lowville, 10-7, offensive show there in Waterloo. How about McDonald and Western Reserve? This, if you ask me what the most shocking score was of the evening, it'd be this one. Not because McDonald won, but because of how many runs were scored in this game. Both teams have pretty quality pitching, with Byers in the circle for Western Reserve, and of course Isabella O'Brien in the circle for McDonald. Both very good, but both of them had nights where the offenses got to them, and I think Western Reserve is kind of scratching their head because they're like, we finally got to Isabella O'Brien. We weren't able to get to her in 3 games last year at all, hardly. We finally got to her. We finally broke through, but McDonald's offense backed her up, and they still dropped this game 8-7. That's a tough one to swallow when you finally get, a little bit of the edge over a really good pitcher, but you can't back it up with your own defense. Tough one for Western Reserve to bounce back from, but they'll have to do it tonight in McDonald. Garfield gets the win over Newton Falls. Great pitching from the G-men, 10-0, the final score there in the MVAC grade tier. Springfield and Sebring score a ton, but Springfield comes out on top 20-18 on their end. South Range takes care of Hubbard, 11-1, the final score there. Niles and Struthers, the Wildcats, get the win over the Dragons, 18-1. United gets the win over Latonia, 23-0. Jocelyn Irie, another school record under her belt, as she has the one singles record at United. Boardman takes care of Warren Harding on the road, 16-2. Cardinal Mooney and Western Reserve Academy, no score was reported in that one. Ursuline gets the win in the Steel Valley Conference over East, 17-0. Southeast gets the win 18-3 over Warren JFK on the softball side of things. As I said earlier, Wellsville and Lisbon played a doubleheader, and Lisbon wins the next game as well as the first one, 1-0 the final score in that one. Beaver falls to North Catholic, 12-2 the final score. West Branch falls in the 7th inning against Marlington, 4-3, a tough one for West Branch. And then Hoban falls to Hoover, the team that beat them out of the tournament last year. This time Hoover gets to win 4-0 over the Knights. So that will do it for our nightly recap of last night's actions, all the scores and big performances from last night. We're going to take a break here on Running Point. When we come back, we have a player profile to feature, and it will be with champion junior catcher Addie Warzela. That's coming up next on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
From on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by those people, those fine people that you just heard from, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we do that by doing the player profiles that we like to feature and coaches' corners. We have a bunch of stuff that we like to play on Running Point, but we are in a player profile mode today. We have one to feature. It is from Champion Softball, junior catcher, and future Slippery Rock softball player as well. Audi Warzela, in my opinion, top three catchers in the area. You know, you could split hairs with the other two, but right now, just the highest level of catching that you get in high school softball, with the great pitchers we have, by the way. I mean, you look at all the great pitchers that we have in the area, which we have a lot of them. They're all supplemented by extremely good catching. It's almost like it's a pattern. I don't know. Does it take a really good catcher to make a really good pitcher? Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's not like Gabby Gradishar would not be excellent without Addie Warzela, but there would be a little less. The meter would go down. And the same thing with Cindy Watts, with Kylie Fulkwine, the same thing with Melina Toth and Leah Figueroa, et cetera, et cetera. Name every really good pitcher in our area and their catcher. It goes down just a tick when you don't have that catcher that you trust so much. And Addie Warzela is definitely that for Champion. So without further ado, here is the great interview and another player profile. We've had a handful of them with Addie Warzela from Champion. Hope you enjoy another edition of it. Starting here with a Champion softball player profile, we are joined by junior catcher Addie Warzela. Addie, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. Let's talk about, this junior season. You've gone from the first 2 years being an underclassman. Now you're a junior. You're stepping into, more of those leadership responsibilities closer to senior year. What's it been like? Have there been any transitions this year that you've seen differently now being a junior and an upperclassman?
I definitely think I'm able to control the field a lot better, and just honestly having that experience of not only playing travel ball, but getting to be with Coach Weaver and some of the other coaches and some of the even upperclassmen like Bella Longer. It really just gives me more experience and more of control over the field.
Last year, this team gets to the regional finals, and that must have been a great experience for everyone, especially this young roster. Last year, now coming back, a lot of those players coming back this year. Have you felt kind of a new sense of competitiveness with this team and a new sense of trying to get back to that regional final again and take that next step back in the States?
Yeah, I would definitely say, it was obviously hard losing last year, but having such a legacy with this team and the players before, we just want to work our hardest to get back there. I know there's been talk about it at practice, but it's always just one step at a time, trying to get to districts and move past that and make our way back to where we were.
And what kind of things does this team do to keep that one step at a time mentality? Obviously, you want to talk about your upper goals. You want to know what your goals are, but at the same time, you have to stick to that one game at a time thing throughout the whole season because it's a long softball year.
Yeah, I would definitely say we try to tell everyone as a team, like, we can never take anyone lightly. Everyone's out to get some of the good teams like us. So we just can never take anyone lightly, take every game serious, and try our hardest.
All right, so you are catching again this year. You have been one of the best catchers in the area statistically throughout the last couple of years. What has it been like, being able to catch Gabby Gradishar now for another year and to be able to develop your relationship even more with her, and obviously seeing what she's able to do, now going into her upperclassman year as well?
Yeah, having someone like Gabby who not only missed out her freshman year, it's just been honestly great. We're such great friends. And then I've actually got to call pitches for her this year. So we've built such a strong relationship for our pitchers and catchers. And we just really know each other well. I know her well. And if something's not working, we always communicate about it and fix it right away. So it's been really nice.
Transitioning into calling your own games, let's talk about that and what it means to you. Not one, just be able to do it, but also what it means to have a coaching staff that trusts you enough to say, hey, you're seeing the ball well. You know what the batters are doing. You can go and call the game.
Yeah, it was definitely up for discussion the past few years, but I think this year we really just got the trust from Coach Weaver, and knowing me and Gabby's relationship, that she's trusted us, and then our other coaches as well. And I think it's just a lot easier because I'm there, I'm right behind the plate, so I can see the batters, I know their weaknesses. So
do you think that has made you and Gabby even closer now that you're the one that's in control of what she's throwing?
I definitely think it has, because, obviously we're talking a lot more. We're communicating almost every pitch. It's kind of like I can read her mind or read her lips when she wants to throw a certain pitch. And then she always has that power, too, to shake me off if she thinks she doesn't want to throw something or she disagrees with me. So.
And I'm sure that doesn't happen too often because you two are on the same page so much. When you think about, the things that you can do this year and the things you want to accomplish on a personal scale, we've talked about team goals. What are some things that you want to get done and you want to see yourself accomplish before the season's over?
I know personally, I just want to focus a lot on my mental stability, just making sure that I'm always positive, uplifting, because one person can bring the whole team down. So I just always try to make sure I'm up positive, cheering for everyone and keeping the whole team together and keeping myself intact.
One of the things that is going to help you do that is the fact that you've been able to achieve one of your dreams, I'm sure, in being able to play college at the next level. You have committed since the last time we talked to you for softball. What's that been like to be able to say that the recruiting process is over? You don't have to worry about, impressing coaches anymore. You can just focus on high school softball and trying to make it the best experience that you can.
It honestly does feel like a weight off my shoulders, but I mean, I am sad that it's all over. You're not trying to impress anyone anymore. But I definitely think it gives you more time to just enjoy the process and then enjoy your last 2 years of high school ball.
So for people that don't know or people that haven't been following you yet, maybe this is the first time hearing from you. Talk about where you're deciding to go to play college softball in a couple of years.
So I've decided to go to Slippery Rock University in PA, and it honestly was a kind of last minute decision. We had a travel ball tournament in Tennessee, and I talked to my coach, and I was like, "Hey, I think I want to check out Slippery Rock." And they had a camp, I think, within the next 2 weeks, and I ended up going. I loved it, and then we went back there for a school trip the following week, and that's when I kind of just knew.
And that's obviously because of that story of school that maybe was, I don't want to say off the radar, but you kind of found them. And then as soon as you went to a camp, you felt something special that you wanted to be a part of. What was it there? What was it about the program, about the coaches, about the players that made you feel like right on the spot, like this is kind of where I want to go?
After I got there and, we started going through the drills, I met some of the coaches, Coach Rice. I kind of just felt it was very at home. Everyone was very nice. And not even that, you could tell they had fun at practice. You could tell they were there not only to play softball, but there to build a family, build a team, and, get the job done.
It's also, relatively local. Did that play a factor in your decision, knowing that your family won't have any hard times getting to the games that you play and to be able to come watch you throughout your college career as well?
Yeah, that definitely did. I didn't want to go too far, but I mean, PA is not far from us at all. It's about an hour. So I do have a really big family, so I did want them to be able to come and watch and still support me and be around.
Let's talk about the fact that you're also going to be joining Alyssa Masucci there as well, who is also committed to Slippery Rock, and you're going to be representing the area. What's it like to know that you're going to a place where some other local players are going as well, and you'll at least have someone that you can share, what it was like to go play in Northeast Ohio and the region with?
Yeah, Alyssa does great things. She's a great player, and we've gotten to scrimmage against them a couple times and play some games against them. So it's nice to be able to, see her and see her around and just know that I'm going to have someone there that I know.
One of the things I also noticed this year, you have new uniforms. We have to talk about it. What do you think of the all purples and the pinstripes? What's it feel like to get some new unis in there and to be able to look good, feel good, play good?
I think that definitely does play a factor in the way, I play in my mindset. You look good, you play good, feel good, like you said. So definitely the pinstripes are probably my favorite, but it's nice to just get that new flashy thing. A lot of teams have the new pinstripes, so it's nice to just kind of be out there and be flashy.
One of the things I want to ask, what does Champion have that makes you feel like it's home? I mean, obviously everyone feels at home with their home field. What is it about the school system and the field that you play on that makes it feel like it's a home game and that when you're there, it's a little bit more comfortable?
Even when we're not at home, I would say we have a pretty good amount of the community come out to our games, our fans. We always have that locals that come every game. You see them, they support us. So I think it's just nice, especially as like a catching view, just to look out and be on the field and see that you have all of your community supporting you.
Coach Weaver, you brought her up a little bit earlier, brand new Hall of Famer. You also got her a milestone win earlier on in the season. What's it mean to be able to just be even a bigger part of her legacy and to be able to say, like, we got her 500th win and now she's a Hall of Fame coach and all the stuff that's come along with her illustrious career, and to be able to say that you've been a small part of her career?
Yeah, it is pretty awesome to see that. And we kind of knew that it was her 500 win, but we didn't know she did. So I think before the game, we could kind of tell she knew. And then, we just talked about, getting this win, getting it done. And then we ended up beating Ursuline. So it's just nice to know that you're a part of something bigger than just the champion legacy, but a part of her legacy.
I want to put it out there that if she didn't know, wasn't from our end. We were told very straightforward by your mom, like, yeah. Sarah, we did not know. So if she knew before the game, Definitely wasn't on YSN's, and we were there for the surprise.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, that win and what it meant to celebrate that moment with your coach. It obviously means so much to you. And what was it like to see just that moment in her eyes and to be able to share that with your coach?
Yeah, our boosters did a lot of work before the game, so shout out to them. But I think it was just nice. Like I said before, we kind of thought she knew, but we weren't sure. She was just kind of antsy, wanting to get it done. But we played a very good Ursuline team, and I think we really just the whole team came together. We came, we showed, and we played really good. So
When you think about still having 1 year left, champion after this year, and knowing that next year you're going to be a senior and you're going to be one of those players that's looked at as the veteran, the leader, the biggest leader that you've been throughout your career. When you look at the seniors you have this year, what are you trying to sponge off of them? What are you trying to learn from them to know when you step into that role next year that you're going to know how to be a senior and be one of those, and you've been a leader for a while, but one of those senior leaders next year?
definitely, like you said, still just being a leader and taking control of the field. And I think definitely just showing up every day, helping other girls out if they need some help, just getting that extra work in.
It's a great senior class that you have this year. If you had to pick kind of one way they've impacted your softball journey the most, what do you think you'd say?
I definitely say we have Bella, so that's great. And then we had Nina Dodd join us this year. But they definitely are people that you can lean on and turn to when something's going wrong. Even if it's like something bad, like you struck out, you can always turn to them and know they'll have your back.
When you think of your best leadership qualities, things that you think you excel at as a leader, what things come to mind?
I definitely think I'm very vocal being a catcher, but not even that, just also being there for your teammates and kind of controlling the game, keeping it at our own pace, calling the infield in if something goes wrong, but definitely just keeping control in that leadership.
All right, as we shift focus, I want to talk about your schoolwork. Obviously, junior year is a year where, you get a little bit more intense with the schoolwork and you start to think about, what college schoolwork is going to do and the tests that you have to take to secure all that kind of stuff. What's it been like junior year as far as in the school, in the classroom?
Well, I recently started attending TCTC here in Trumbull, which is a technical trade center, and I'm in the exercise science program, so I kind of already know my path for college. So I'm going to continue that exercise science major, but it's definitely been a great help with my teacher, Miss Finegi, and this program. We've learned a lot of like anatomy, and there's been a lot of tests, and they're hard, but it definitely has made me well prepared for the future.
What's it been like, transitioning from high school to go to that trade school and to be able to really train yourself before you even get to college on stuff that you're already going to be studying after you graduated champion?
Yeah, the school is pretty big, so it was definitely a big change going from champion, our small school, to TCTC, which is fairly big. We have a lot of students, so we have some pretty decent class sizes, and I definitely think knowing what you're interested in and having something you like to do, it's easier to learn. It makes it more fun. So it's definitely been a great change.
Do you have a preference, like big school, small school, and the settings? Like, do you have one that you think you thrive in a little bit more than the other?
Even though TCTC is a bigger school and we have like a bigger class size for my program, our teacher does a great job of getting a lot of hands-on learning, which helps me a lot. So you're always engaged, you're always listening, you're always doing something. So it's never just standing around not doing anything. You're always learning.
We can't get you out of here without asking some fun softball questions. So my first one for you: what's your softball ick that's been going around TikTok for a while? Do you have a softball ick, something that you see that's like, it's not gonna fly?
I would definitely say the neavage, although I am one to fall for that. I tend to show my knees sometimes when hitting, but yeah, definitely the gap between the knees and the socks.
You're guilty of it.
Yeah.
What do you want your walk-up song to be?
Oh man, I know me and Gabby were talking about doing some Spanish songs, but I'm not really sure. I haven't nailed that down.
If you were able to pick one snack that you could have in the dugout for the rest of your career, what snack would it be?
Definitely the Cheez-It mix with like the like pretzels in it, like kind of like a cheddar mix. That's my favorite, my go-to.
What's your favorite softball cheer in the dugout?
Oh, I definitely like the foul ball ones. There's a few of those that you can do, but definitely foul ball cheers.
Are there any that you think like we're not going to do in champion because they're stale and they've been used so much, and when you hear other teams do them, you're like, it's another ick.
Yeah, definitely like the walk up ones where they're like saying something about the pitcher. Those aren't my favorite.
Yeah, catcher mentality right
Yeah.
there. Do you have any nicknames on the team that you like, or things that your teammates like to call you that have kind of stuck?
I'm pretty much just Addie, but I used to be like A-Dub, something like that along the lines, but usually just Addie.
Dubs for days, right?
Yeah.
When you think of your teammates and some of the things that you guys do, either off the field or outside the lines that make you so close, what are some of your favorite memories that don't have to do with just playing a game that you guys get with your softball team that you're going to treasure for a while?
There's been kind of a tradition at Champion. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but usually before our first tournament game and during the tournaments, we go to Coach Weaver's house pretty late at night. She doesn't know we're coming, and we kind of trash her house a bit, but we always go back the next day and see if she needs help cleaning up.
Cleaning up, that's good. When you think of ways that you've impacted the youth, and we're talking about youth of Champion, obviously, the youth softball program is so strong, and that's why Champion's always able to reload and rebuild in the softball program. What are some of the favorite things you get to do with the young players at Champion that let them know that you're there for them and that you support their journey as well?
I definitely love doing the youth camps. That's great to get the girls to come and they just get to do drills with you. They get to know you, get to talk to you. And then every time I'm down at the field, usually see someone else around. And then I've given them some lessons some few times. So it's just nice to be able to give back to your community.
All right, Addie, before we let you go, as always, player profiles, we want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself for a minute and shine it on the people that support you. Want to give you the time to give out the thanks for the people in your life that you wouldn't be able to be on this journey without.
I definitely like to thank God and my parents and my family. I couldn't do it without them and their constant support and just giving into this sport for me. And my teammates and my friends and all of my coaches who have been there along the way.
All right, Addie, we want to thank you so much for joining us again in your junior season. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we'll be out there. Can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, and thank you for all that you do.
All right, that was Addie Warzela from Champion, the junior catcher. I got that right 2 times in a row. The junior catcher joining us today on this Tuesday episode of Running Point. Always thank her for her time. Obviously, that wasn't live, but she gave us her time for an interview. And I believe that's the 3rd or 4th player profile we've done with her over the years. She was one of those players that you knew as soon as she stepped on the field as a freshman. You're like, well, okay, we're in for a treat for the next 4 years. So, of course, we got her freshman year, and we talked to her last season. And obviously now here we go again, round number 3. And we've talked to her a couple of basketball years too, as she's a very good basketball player and the point guard over at Champion on the basketball team. So a lot of fun with Addie Warzela. We thank her for her time, and that is one of 3 Champion softball player profiles that you can already find on ysnlive.com. You heard Bella Meyer here live on the show, and in a little bit, we will also play Gabby Gradishar's player profile as well on the show. So all of those 3 can be found at ysnlive.com. Any interview that goes on the show, 9 times out of 10, this is one of my I'm very, very cautious about it. I'm very, I don't want to say cautious, very stern to myself. I don't like to play interviews on the show that haven't been pre-recorded, at least, that haven't been uploaded on the site. So usually 9 times out of 10, unless it's one that literally was conducted right before the show or something like that, usually 9 times out of 10, if you hear an interview on Running Point or you miss a minute of it, or maybe you want to hear it again, 9 times out of 10, you can go right to the website and find it, because usually the ones that I put on the show are ones that have already been posted on the site. We have a lot in the can that haven't been posted yet, so make sure to stay tuned to the website, to our social medias. A lot of player profiles coming your way in the next day or two, so make sure to stay tuned on that end. Let's hop right back into the scoreboard. Let's talk about what's going on tonight. We recapped last night's action. I want to see what's going on tonight. It's another beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. We don't get a lot of them, so we got to take full advantage on this Tuesday afternoon. And here's what the baseball schedule looks like. Orange back in action as they're going to be hosting Chagrin Falls. Mohawk at home in PA. That's going to be against Elwood City. Jefferson hosts Geneva tonight. Edgewood, coming off their win last night against Lakeside, goes home to play the Dragons for round 2. West Branch at home against the Lions. Beaver Local gets a home game against Brook tonight. And Camel hosting Brookfield. Canfield trying to make it 2 in a row against Howland as they go to the Tigers' Den this time around. Lisbon has Cheney at home. You have Crestview going to Champion, a pitcher's duel last night. What'll happen tonight between the two? Bulldogs going to Heartland Christian. Next Level Academy, really sharing that whole complex. So it's a quote-unquote home game for Heartland, but East Palestine plays their games in the same place. So Garfield will go to Newton Falls tonight. It's kind of like, it just popped into my head. That's kind of like the New York Giants and Jets. Like, oh, it's a home game, but we're using the same stadium. So it's fun little night tonight for Heartland and East Palestine. Remember, these games are flipped because Hubbard and South Range played at South Range last night. For those of you that are still looking at the original schedule, this game will be at Hubbard tonight to make up for having to go to South Range last night. So Hubbard will retain their home game. So it'll be at Hubbard tonight for both baseball and softball between South Range and the Eagles. LeBray baseball going to Liberty. They won pretty handedly last night. We'll see if Liberty has something else in the tank tonight. Madison going to Conneaut. We have Middle Ridge in their second game of the series against Jackson Milton. They won in a pitcher's duel last night. Mogador traveling to JFK. That'll be at Eastwood Field, the big one in the PTC down there. Niles goes to Struthers. We have Poland trying to bounce back, trying to make it 2 in a row against Lakeview after their walk-off win. Springfield goes to Sebring. We have Waterloo traveling to Lowville. McDonald hosting Western Reserve. Cardinal Mooney will be hosting Columbiana. And East Liverpool goes to Indian Creek. That's on the baseball side. Let's look at the softball games happening today. Mohawk in action against Neshannock. We have Conneaut traveling to Pymatuning Valley. 2 teams with 2 big wins last night. Bristol goes to Lakeside. Beaver Local traveling to East Palestine. We have Brookfield going to Camel tonight to play on the football turf. Howland will be hosting Canfield in round 2, trying to take the momentum that they had at the end of that game where they scored 2 runs in a row in the 7th. Obviously, they lost, but they had momentum heading out of that game. So Tigers trying to take that and maybe pull off an upset against Canfield in round 2. Crestview goes to Champion tonight. Newton Falls will be hosting Garrettsville Garfield. Reminder, the South Range Hubbard game will be in Hubbard. Liberty will host LeBray. Middle Ridge travels to Jackson Milton. Jackson Milton trying to shore up the lead this time if they get one. Struthers will be at Niles tonight. And we will be hosting Niles, Poland goes to Lakeview in round 2 of that one. Poland trying to bounce back from the run rule victory last night for Lakeview. The rivalry between West Branch and Salem continues tonight in West Branch as the Quakers and Warriors go at it. Springfield will go to Sebring. Lowville will host Waterloo tonight. East Liverpool at home against Wellsville. McDonald and Western Reserve, round 2. A 1-run game last night. What will happen tonight between the 2 rivals? Hoban goes to Ursuline. And then United will travel to Maplewood. So that is your slate of games tonight involving YSN teams. Let's go on what will be on the network tonight. We'll have baseball. Eric Hughes will be in Mohawk against as they take on Elwood City. Matt Marr is going to be at Scene Park Field 1 for Waterloo and Lowville. Joe Eusebio will be at Mooney, and that'll be at Scene 1 for Columbiana and Mooney. Larry Jennings will be in Edgewood for their baseball matchup with Lakeside. Steve Hodge will be at Scene 2 for Camel and Brookfield. Sam Torres will be on the call for Palm Valley and Ashtabula St. John, and then Louisville will travel to Massillon for a matchup there on the road, and that'll be on YSN Live as well. The Louisville crew has you covered. For softball, I will be in Hubbard for South Range traveling to the Eagles. Ty Bartell will be in YSU for their matchup with Hoban against Ursuline. And those will be the games on the network tonight. One update to the schedule there. Mohawk and Neshannock has been moved to May 7th for softball. So it's on the scoreboard here, but that has been moved to May 7th. So that game not happening tonight. Those are the games that'll be on the network and who will be covering them. Make sure you head over to ysnlive.com/live for your live looks at what games are happening, and all these games are going to be free for you at that website. So make sure to check it out. All the games on the network tonight. It's going to be a good night of baseball and softball. Beautiful weather. If you can't go out there and watch in person, which I think you absolutely should, you should take advantage of this awesome weather. You should be out there. But if you can't for whatever reason, YSN has you covered with plenty of games on the network tonight. Make sure to check it out for free. ysnlive.com/live. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to once again thank Addie Warzela for her time giving us that interview. I want to thank everyone here for tuning in today. We had a great show, and I also want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown for being an awesome sponsor of Running Point for a long time now. So once again, this will do it, and we will bid you adieu. We will see you tomorrow from 1 to 2 with Scotty Mincher.